Load Cantina Cast Patreon content.
Hi, Patreon members. Hi, Lauren.
Hi. Hi
Nothing to see
again.
here. Everything's going smooth as silk, right? How are
We're
you
all
doing?
fine here.
How are you? Yep. That was the Luke we got malfunction and control, whatever the hell that line is. Okay, so welcome to the Tatooine Trading Post. This is our first episode, and boy, what a way to get started. We had some technical difficulties in the last episode, but I think we've worked past those. For those of you that are joining us tonight live or watching the video or listening to the audio, depending on your Patreon level, thanks for being here. This is a kind of a breakout. We used to do the show and tell as part of the normal Patreon episodes, and so to kind of again to slim these things down, we decided that we would just pull this out, kind of make it its own thing, fun little activity for us to kind of talk about the stuff that we've collected here in the last week. Some of it's Star Wars related, hopefully. Sometimes it's not Star Wars related. I've got a little bit of both, and I teased it on the last show. Something came in today that was just like, I mean, I can't put it down. It's so freaking amazing. I love it to death, and I'm going to gush and gush about it. But Lauren, what did you bring anything to share with us on show and tell on this first episode of the Trading Post? What do you got?
Yes. Okay. So I have a couple of things. One of them is a little bit of a cheat because it wasn't in the past week, but it was cool enough
Oh,
that I
that's
felt
okay.
like I still had
As
to do
long
it.
so the rules are for us, but so that you know, for me and Jonesy and you, as long as you haven't shown it on the air, it's technically fair game. So you're good.
Good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So what I got. So I'll start with my most recent. So I love like just digging around in like the used bookstore, and I've been collecting just like because they're recovering a lot of the Legends books, and so I've just been collecting like some of the old school covers because eventually I would like to have both versions. And so
Hmm.
I saw this version of Shatterpoint
Oh
at the
yeah.
used bookstore, and I love Mace Windu on the cover, so that I had to pick up for the bookshelf. And then
Did you
the
pick
other
up
thing
the
that I
wait, did you pick up the Legends one as well?
you mean
Oh,
the
the reissue one, yeah, with the new cover. Have you picked that one up yet?
not yet, but I'm going to
Okay.
eventually because I love both of the covers. I love like this vibe of the old covers. I don't know, something about the extraness of it is just fun to me. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
get both versions.
Yeah, they're pretty wild. Those original like Legends covers, some of them are crazy. And some of them really feel like throwbacks to the original posters, which is always kind of nice as
Yeah, and I love it when we have like the actual photos of the characters on it too.
yeah.
So I don't know, it's just like that look.
By the way, we have a troll with us tonight. Look, he's already trolling you. He said, "Too bad he's dead." He knows that you like Mace Windu and that think he's alive, and so he's going after you. Are you going to put up with that? I wouldn't let him do that to you.
I knew that he was going to have some comments, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to show this book because I knew
In
it
spite
would
of him.
get under his skin because he can't handle it. He can't
Yeah.
handle the fact that Mace Windu is coming back, unfortunately for him. So,
Okay, you've heard it here first from Lauren. He's coming back.
yeah,
All right.
I'll mark my words.
Okay. What else do you have for? Or do you want me to
So
go?
I can go. I'll show my other thing. So, I follow Star Wars Thrifting on Instagram, and I love
She's
looking
awesome.
at yeah, just the cool stuff that she finds. And like every once in a while, she does she'll post like a little pop-up sale on her stories where she'll sell like some of the stuff that she found. And she got these like prequels journals. And she had three of them, so I got all three of them. But I just love this, like, I don't know if this is technically one of the movie posters, but it definitely has like that same kind of effect, kind of like the book cover I was just talking about. But um so yeah, when
So
she
you're
posts those little pop-up sales, I'm always looking.
yeah. So Lauren was holding up. So we have some of the members will get the audio only on this one, but So Lauren was holding up I guess what is Attack of the Clones? Is it like a journal, just a writing journal? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's just a journal, which I actually got to take book notes.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay, so you are actually
that
going to
was
use
kind
it
of
and
my
not
first
just sit
one.
it on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it to take my notes as I'm reading my new Star Wars books that are coming out.
Yeah, very cool. I do like that poster. I don't remember that poster though. It doesn't. I don't think it was a movie poster, but it was. I remember it being used. It's they do the stuff, the art. They do like the special art for like stuff like that, or the side art on boxes of things that they're releasing. Right. So I forget what that one was, but that is kind of cool. Plus, I mean, you can see Kenobi's really awesome beard on the front of that cover as well. Can you hold that back up again? I just want to dig into Jonesy here just a little bit
Yeah,
because I know
and
that's
his
just gonna
Jedi mullet.
and his mullet too. Look at that, Jonesy. I mean, how do you feel? How does he feel about that? We'll have to find out because I know he's a big fan of his beard in that episode or that.
Yeah, I've heard him say that that's beard goals, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's aspirational for him at best. Well, very cool. So I got a couple things here I want to share quickly. So as you guys know, I collect a lot of different things. I'm not a pop collector, but I have a pop here. I'm not a pin collector, but I have pins. So I'm gonna hopefully this works. I brought a camera in here that I'm gonna call Cantina Cam. So this is not Star Wars related. This is Dungeons and Dragons. It's a pop figure. It's the gelatinous cube. It just came out. It says it's a Funko 2023 Wondrous Convention Limited Edition. So I think I paid like $30 or maybe $25, $30, which isn't bad for one of these things. A lot of times these cons, depending on how many they make, and of course the character, I mean, they'll go for like 50, 60, $100 at times. I think the most I've ever paid for a com exclusive is like maybe $100. And it's back there. I won't get it right now, but there's one that I just absolutely had to have. But this one's kind of a fun one. And I picked it up because one, it's Dungeons and Dragons. And then two, this is kind of something that actually shown in the movie, this gelatinous. So that's a cool little one, fun little thing. Okay. So then, I picked this up, I guess, a few weeks ago now, a couple weeks ago at least. But this is the Goldsboro version of Cataclysm. So Lydia King, so as you can see right here. The cool thing is it comes with one of these like plastic jackets, right, to cover it and protect it. You can see it's kind of got that translucent kind of look to it. But the cool thing about the Goldsboro versions are just the painted pages, which I know seems like trivial, but this blue is just so cool. The way it pops on the rest of the cover, it looks really great. And then, of course, with all the
cover is just awesome.
yeah, they do good stuff. And then the Goldsboro version, they're all always signed and numbered. So this one's from Lydia King, and I picked up 331 of 500. So I started picking up the Goldsboro versions when Phase 1 of the High Republic came out, and so I've picked up every one so far, and so I'm stuck. I feel like I have to buy these now, but they're such good books, and the quality of them is just amazing. So at some point I'll read that book though. Thumbs up. What did you say on that one? Did you say thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle? It's just Patreon, so you can be honest. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, for me, that one was not it was not my fave out of all the High Republics, but I feel like a lot of people loved that one, and I'm like the odd one out on that. So
okay, that's fair.
Do with that what you will.
Yep. Hey, sometimes it's cool to be odd. Okay, now this is going to be a complete disaster, but I was like, oh, I need a figure, like, because we made the artwork and it's got all these Polaroids of like action figures and stuff like that. And so I thought, well, I don't have an action figure. I probably should buy one. And I just happened to be at the grocery store and found this Bo-Katan action figure. Now, this is weird for me. Like, I'm not the biggest action figure collector anymore. I used to be many years ago. I think we all were when, was it The Power of the Force? All those figures came out. Remember those? And what was it? Right around the special edition releases, right before the prequels.
Yeah.
And like I collected so many of those, and that now like I don't even. And this is gonna sound stupid because I don't know. Is this the way they come? Like you can't see the character. There's no plastic. It's just cardboard, right? If you can see. But I figured it's a Bo-Katan figure.
Yeah, it's something that's been kind of controversial as to if they should continue putting the windows or not, because some people aren't happy with not having the window. So that's like a whole thing right now.
Yeah. So Jonesy's saying no. I don't know what no means. You say no, this is not normal, or no, they don't do this anymore. We'll get him to chime in on this one. But I mean, so this is Bo-Katan. It looks pretty basic. Definitely. Oh, he says they still have bubble packaging that looks like a younger toy. Hey, it's not young. I want to open. I'm going to play with this. But it does look like this Bo-Katan looks to be like pre-season 3 because of the shoulder pad thing, right? He doesn't have the mythosaur on there. We'll find out. All right. So I'm going to try to open this, see how this goes here. Again, this is going to be completely disastrous. I already know it. And normally I wouldn't open up my action figures either. Like I have a ton of the Power of the Force ones that are just sitting in a box that have never been opened. So this is really abnormal for me it feels weird. Oh, look at this. So like, it's not even like so they put it in this like plastic bag. Sorry about the audio. So maybe this is eco-friendly at least, right? So there you go. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is you can see her there. She does not have a lot of articulation. And her guns are pretty much in her hands and she can't get rid of them. So she's just stuck like this. I mean, otherwise the figure is not bad. Yeah, like I said, like it looks fine. I mean, it doesn't look, the hands and the arms, the figure doesn't look over exaggerated, like in terms of the physical build, right? Like you would normally see with like kid toys or younger kid toys. But yeah, there's not a lot of articulation. I mean, she literally can move her hands, or arms, I should say, not even her hands, arms up and down. The legs do not move whatsoever. Her torso moves, so you can see that. So there's her torso moving left and right. And her head does turn left and right as well. So, and it bobs up and down too.
Stand up on her own?
We'll put her to the test here in a second. Let me move my recyclable trash over to the side here. So here comes the test real quick. It looks like, oh no, she's a little top heavy here. Come on, honey. You need to bend back a little bit because I can't get you to stay up. Okay, yeah, there she goes. So she stands up.
Yay.
Yeah. Now, as long as I don't move and there's no wind, she should stay up, but she's pretty fragile. Like if I barely touch her, there she goes. So, but I mean, it was I don't know. A lot
of mine are. They just fall over.
Like, so with her arms down, she's much more stable. So it's just the weight. Not, she's not balanced by any means, but like you said, she would probably look good sitting back here on the shelf somewhere, right? She's definitely recognizable as Bo-Katan. And I think I paid all of about like $5 for this thing. So yeah, not bad. So, okay. Well, enough of that. Thanks, Bo-Katan. Thank you, HEB, because that's where I got it. Literally at the grocery store. I was like walking by and I was like, oh, okay, look at that. There's a Bo-Katan. And they have other ones too. I think this line had like Luke Skywalker. I think there's a Darth Vader. There's a Mando. I think there's a Grogu as well. There was a Stormtrooper. And there was only one Stormtrooper left. And there was one Bo-Katan and one Stormtrooper, but it was right around the time that the final episode had aired. So I was like, oh, I was all about Bo-Katan and, hoping there was going to be a Darksaber in here. There's not. So not really cool that they did that. So, but anyways, that's where that came from. Okay. So now I got to show you this. All right. So I've been waiting for this book for a long time. I was not aware. I wasn't prepared for how incredible this book is. And I would say, so this is the Timelines book. So Jedi Timelines. I'm going to put it down here so you guys can see it. This just came out a couple days ago. It was officially released, I think, on Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday of this week. Mine got delayed from Amazon, which never really happens, but it's fine. I got it. It's from DK Publishing. In the writers, let me pull this up real quick because there's actually a cool thing in here about the writers that's very Cantina Cast specific. So written by Kristen Baver. So I think we all know her from Star Wars This Week. She's done some other stuff here recently. Jason Fry is very well known in Star Wars. Cole Horton, I'm not too familiar with him. And then Clayton Sandell. We've had a chance to meet, Jonesy and I got a chance to meet him over in Star Wars Celebration 2022. Very cool guy, really supportive of the show. He works at Disney, of course, very well connected, really, really nice guy. So it's really cool to see his name here. But Amy Rakow, she used to be part of the Cantina Cast. So long ago, she was one of the people that was doing some of the website work, I think, when they had the website, and that was kind of an active thing, blogging and writing stuff there. That's kind of, I wouldn't say she got her start here. That's not what I'm saying, but she was part of the crew. And even when we go back and look at old documentation and show notes and stuff, she's in there and listed in there. So she's now moved on to bigger and better things, or how about different things than this show? But it is cool to see that there is a Cantina Cast alumni here as part of the writers. But so that aside,
That's
I mean,
cool.
yeah. But what I wasn't prepared for is how freaking extensive this timeline is. Like, so it starts off. I'm going to pull up the very beginning, the early history, and I got super excited because it showed the date. So 26,000, if you can see that, 26,000 BBY is where they start with the timeline. And this first section takes you to 501 BBY. Now, unfortunately, they are sticking to canon. So there's not a lot here. Let's see if I can pull it up on the camera here. So there's really only like 2 entries in the 25,000 year mark, right? So we're not getting a lot of detail. They're not going into legend stuff at all. And most of this is everything that we know from, honestly, the Maz. She's in here. She's at the very bottom. Look. Yeah,
Wonderful
I know.
photo of Maz.
Wonderful. Yeah, she's so pretty. Maz
Oh,
Kanata.
no. You're
Eight
giving Jonesy ammo.
I know. 875. It says when she settles on Takadana is the entry there. So this is really the only page. These two pages are the only 2 pages that are dedicated to this timeline. So it's pretty sparse. I would imagine, of course, when we get Dawn of the Jedi, we're going to get a lot more, right? And they'll fill in the blanks on some of this stuff. And then it jumps over into the High Republic, which you can see here. And they take us from 500 BBY to 100 BBY. So for anybody's wondering, though, it's a lot. It's very heavy on phase 2, but not very heavy on phase 1 at all. So I don't know when the production of this started, right? If it had happened, in the middle of when phase 2 was kind of being planned or discussed or being written, right? And that's probably why it's not included. So it's not a huge deal because there is a lot. I mean, a really lot of stuff that's been chronicled on the timelines for the High Republic. As you can kind of see here, it ends with the Fallen Star, but then it starts getting into other aspects of this era, right? So it is timelines, but then they get into like mini timelines or deeper dives into some of these timelines that are very character specific. Sometimes like they focus on the Jedi, they focus on the Nihil timeline, how they came to power, everything before the Great Disaster, everything after the Great Disaster. So it's cool. They give you they give you kind of like this really high view, high level view of the timelines, and then they dig into some of those in finer detail. So, and then it's even got stuff in here from like the video game. You can kind of see here, this is from Battlefront 2. So talking about Luke's exploration and some of the artifacts that he was finding. It gets into the start of the Jedi Order. And then look, they even have like a timeline just on the Great Disaster. I don't know if you can see that. So all of the events that happened in the Light of the Jedi, they've gone through and marked them. You can see exactly when they happened, of course, relative to each other, all that. So really, really great stuff. And this is, I'm kind of just flipping through the pages, but again, this is still all the High Republic. And I want to say, oh, look, there's Loden Greatstorm.
And that's
Or on
super
Grizzle.
helpful for High Republic, especially because that timeline can get confusing very quickly.
Yep. It goes into the comics. I just passed Tempest Runner as well, so it had that. So very, very detailed in terms of phase 2. But again, nothing for phase 1. And then and of course, there won't be anything for phase 3. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. If they come back and do a supplement or like a version 2 or something that accounts for all of that, because I think that's going to be a huge piece. Huge pieces missing with phase 2 and phase 3. And then from there, it gets into the Fall of Jedi, and I won't get into all this thing, but I mean, it is massive in terms of size and just how detailed it goes. And if anybody's wondering, like, how far does this go in the future? Well, I did that. I already cut to the very end to just look. So it ends with the events of the Rise of Skywalker. So it literally takes you up to, and there's quite a bit in here from the Rise of Skywalker. All of Palpatine's lifespan as well. When he was born, everything that he went through, he's got his own timeline in here as well. And then we finally, the timeline ends with I'm Ray Skywalker, that very last scene in The Rise of Skywalker. And there's no mention of New Jedi Order in here as well. So again, they probably did that that's the very last page, but they probably did that because, the movies were probably still being worked on. They weren't really sure. I don't know, whatever it is, that's not included. So at some point, I would imagine it needs to get filled out. So if you are a fan of Star Wars, you have to have this. I mean, I don't even know that there's any other kind of qualifier or that needs to be said. I'm trying to look at the price because I don't know what I paid for it. So the retail price is $50. I probably got it at 25% off since it was a pre-order. But yeah, I mean, this is like so cool. Like you have to get this book. And I'm not here to sell it for any other reason other than if you're into timelines and you want to get into the minutia and the fine details of like what happened in Star Wars, they did an incredible job. And there's like no stone unturned. Like everything is in here. Clone Wars, the Bad Batch, all of the live action, the Mando stuff's in here. Everything's in here. It's just, it feels like a book that, there are times when we're working on the show notes and we want to prep for something. I'll go back here and grab a book, and I have some of the books that are kind of my go-tos. It does feel like this book is going to be a go-to going forward for a lot of different things because it's just so expansive and it covers the breadth of everything that's happened in Star Wars canonically. So pretty excited about it.
I was going to say, it looks like a really good resource.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And it feels like, it's like Wikipedia in your hands in some ways without, 15 pages of the backstory. They really boil down and just kind of give you the nuts and bolts of what happened and what you need to know so that you have a good fundamental understanding of the events. But they don't really get into the fine minutia of things with the exception of breaking the timelines, decomposing those timelines even further, right? There is that. But yeah, it's kind of like you can consume it at different levels depending on how much you really want to get into what happened in a particular timeline or with a particular event or, group or, whatever it is. So recommend this book. Have you picked it? Are you going to pick this one up now that have I sold you on this book?
Yeah, you have sold me on it. I was just thinking I need to order that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to send you my Amazon link so that I can get a credit. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that.
I
should do that, but no.
Permission.
Yeah, I get a little kickback there from it. So, more than anything, honestly, as silly and sappy as it sounds, I'm so happy for everybody that was part of this book. Like, it feels like it's such a monumental tome that we need in Star Wars, and it's never been done before. And to see the names that are in there, some of those people are just so awesome, and they're such good people that I'm super excited. I hope this book really does really well for them. And I want to see more of these. Like, I can't wait to see like a version 2 or volume 2. With as long as they keep releasing them and they're of this quality, this is definitely a book that I would pick up. And it's a beautiful book. Beginning to end too. It's not like, sometimes not to knock the some of the DK stuff that they've done in the past, but sometimes it feels like they mail it in terms of like the layouts and some of the stuff that they do in the inside. But I don't even know how much time was put into this thing, but it feels like it was a lot. Right? It was definitely a team effort, a collaborative effort, and so. Kudos to everybody that went into creating this, but this is so exciting. So yeah, that's all I had. I think I actually have more things, and I thought, well, I'm not going to bring those out because I'll probably spend at least 20 minutes talking out of the book, and I think I did about 15. There's Mace Windu for you on the.
Oh yes, yay! We got both versions. Looks awesome.
Yeah, he's talking to you, Jonesy. He's looking at you, Jonesy. Look at that. Telling you what's up, bro.
Mine is also looking at Jonesy too.
Yep. I'll be saying, I'll be back, sucker. You wait. He's coming back. I'm with you, Lauren.
Yeah, the evidence is there.
So we got just a few more minutes. The Patreon show that we have this Sunday. So this Sunday we're going to get into a short story called yes, I was going to say My Immortal, but that's the Evanescence song, which actually is a great song, but that is not what we're going to get into.
That's the companion song.
That's the companion, right? You want to listen to that as you read this short story. So this is from the Dark Legends. I've been wanting to talk about this book ever since it came out, honestly. And this story in particular is it's just fun. I wouldn't say, well, I'll save it for the show, right? I kind of want your thoughts on the writing, and we can take it as though it was a book review of sorts, right? A short story review. But more importantly, the context of the book, I thought context of the story was important. But this will be our Patreon show this Sunday at 9 p.m. We're going to get into one of the short stories here on the Dark Legends novel. This was written by George Mann. It's kind of a grouping of, I guess, kind of spooky stories, the dark side of Star Wars, if you will. But this story in particular is called A Life Immortal. And it's going to get into a character by the name of Dark Noxus. And it gets into Exegol. I think it plays into kind of play off of what we were talking about on the Life After Death episode that we just wrapped up. It really gets into the purpose of Exegol, why Palpatine went there for why all this was kind of happening on Exegol. It gives some background and some context there. And it gets into specifically about yet another character that we didn't talk about purposely, but it gets into another character that was seeking life after death, being immortal. And we get a really cool, we get a big payoff at the very end of be careful what you wish for kind of thing, right? There's always a drawback to this sort of stuff. So that'll be the Patreon show. We'll do that here on Sunday. And this is a really good book too. If you've not had a chance, all of these are good. All the George Mann stuff I think are fine. I mean, they're not my favorite in terms of it's not up there with, some of the better Star Wars novels, but for quick short story reads, I don't know. I think they're fun. Have you read this book, the whole thing, or just that one story?
I've read bits and pieces of it, but I agree I like it that they're doing more short story collections because I feel like it's a cool way to just kind of explore just some little nuggets that maybe we don't have time to get super into in some of the other books and movies, but it's just a cool way to get a little taste of something. So I do like it that they were coming out with, they had that one, and then didn't they have Myths and Fables or something similar along those lines?
Yes, they had the Myths and Fables. They had the Stories of Light and Dark, which is the Clone Wars one as well.
Yeah, so I like it that they did those three, and then we've got
Life
some
Day.
other short story stuff too,
Yeah, Life Day
High
one
Republic ones.
Yep. Yeah, and they're all George Mann, which is this is kind of where he kind of got it started with his Star Wars storytelling. I was trying to pull up the artwork for this one because I do want to show that just quickly. I love this picture. It's actually of Dark Noxus. You can see it there on the camera.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, that is clearly that's clearly the Exegol throne that Palpatine's sitting on, and that's her there. She is female, and she has a sickle kind of lightsaber, so it's curved, which is interesting. And we'll probably we're going to talk about that as well because it kind of plays a part into all this. So. But yeah, I thought the artwork, the artwork, coupled with the story, the mystique of Exegol, and certainly the subtext of life after death and immortality, all of that's super fascinating to me. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to that show on Sunday. Okay, well, that's I guess we're gonna call it a show. So thanks for everybody for joining us on the live stream tonight, and hopefully you're catching this on the video. We'll post this to Patreon for certain Patreon members. The audio will be posted as well. So depending on your tier, you'll get the audio or video, or you'll be able to get both. But yeah, this is fun. I'm glad we were able to do this, and looking forward to the next one. So you got to start. You got to start picking up some things, Lauren, in case
Yeah,
well, out in the Bahamas
I
or
got to
whatever.
get that book, at least the timelines ones.
Yep. Now that you should get it and then come on here and then say all the same stuff I did and go on for 20 minutes about the book. So
I'll put a Lauren spin on it.
Okay, there you go. Yep. That'll be much more intelligent than my review of, man, it looks cool. Okay, so
I definitely do some of the man, it looks cool stuff as well, though. So
yeah, it's hard not to with some of these books. I have other things though. So when we get to around the next show, I think I'm going to finally break out the third book in the Thrawn Ascendancy. I bought the out of print version. That was $150. I think it sells for $500 now on eBay. I don't have the first two though, which is sad because I wasn't really thinking about them at the time, and I just happened to see that cover and I was like, "Oh, that looks really cool. I want that one," even if it was $150. But now I'm like, I want to get the first two, and I think the first one's $1,500 new, and I think the second one is $500. So it's another $2,000 just to complete that collection. So
that's crazy how much special edition books get marked up. Sometimes it's a little discouraging.
Yeah, I think there were only 700 of those or 750. Not even that. I don't know. I have to, when we open it up, it's numbered in there. I think it's 250. Is not from what I'm saying. It's a pretty low run. They
And
did
those
not create a
covers
lot of them.
are amazing too.
Yeah, and they slide in, right? They've got like a case that they slide into as well. So I've got that. And then by the time we do the show next week, also I will have my limited run Jedi Survivor set. So it comes in a box. It's got the lightsaber replica. It's for Cal Kestis. It has, I don't know, some other stuff in there as well. So maybe I may even just hold off on playing the game and opening that and just do kind of another disastrous unboxing here on the air while Jonesy gives color commentary on what I'm doing and fumbling with. So you got that to look forward to next week.
I do love a good unboxing.
Yeah, well, I can't guarantee they'll be good, but they will be unboxing nonetheless. So.
It'll be interesting.
It'll always be interesting. I can guarantee I'll at least try to make it interesting, if nothing else. Okay, well, we'll end the show here. Again, thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week on Tatooine Trading Post.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.